Eddie, thank you. Plans to toughen up the citizenship test don't go far enough, according to some Senate crossbenchers. David Lionhelm says sponsors should also be introduced to tighten our immigration laws. The government has announced plans to change the focus of the test from trivial to more values-based questions. As 7 News revealed, thousands of migrants fail the test each year but are allowed to sit it again. One Nation leader Pauline Hanson has been calling for tighter immigration laws for some time now, and she joins me. Good morning, Pauline. Has the government gone far enough in making the citizenship test tougher?
No, not at all. I agree with the Minister for Immigration, Peter Dutton, here when he says welfare dependency and also language must be paramount in anyone becoming an Australian citizen, which I totally agree. If you actually have a look at it, they're supposed to do the test in English. They can do it multiple times. It costs, I think, about $29 to do once. That's one only cost. And one fellow did it 48 times before he actually passed it. I think the questions are childish. I think they're laughable. And, you know, and a lot of Australians don't even know the questions themselves. As I said, welfare dependency is a very big thing, and in other countries around the world you actually have to have a bank statement saying that you can actually support yourself for a certain period of time. You have to have your own health insurance as well, and that in itself should be a point of getting our citizenship in Australia, is having health insurance in Australia as well. And that you're not going to be drained on our society. But English, if you can't communicate, how can you expect anyone to assimilate into our society?
You mentioned there that it's interesting. One guy tried it 48 times, and I think since 2012, 96% of approved migrants sat the test at least 3 times before passing. Do those numbers concern you?
Yeah. Of course they concern me. And another thing is that, you know, if they're supposed to take it in English and there are multiple questions, now I'll ask you this question. One of the questions is, what's the relevance of the 2 animals on the coat of arms? Do you know that? So,
well, I guess
I'll tell you. The whole thing is,
go for it.
You have a kangaroo and you have an emu. One's the native animal, one's the native bird of Australia. What relevance is that? Most Australians wouldn't even know that question, or Donald Bradman's batting score. And then when you go to an interview of whether you're going to be accepted into Australia, you can take your own interpreter. So therefore, how do you know what answers they're giving is what they're actually saying? The interpreter is not actually, you know, giving the answers for them. So they can take their own family member.
So you're saying toughening up's not a bad thing, but it's the nature of the questions that have got to change.
Well, it's stupid. You don't need these questions asked, you know. Australians don't even know the questions. I want to know that they've got money in the bank. I want to know where they're going to live. Have they got a home, a roof over their head, or do we have to provide that for them? I want to know if they've got their own health insurance. I want a police check. They may not even have to provide a police check from the country that they've come from. Yeah. Now, look at the people that we brought in here. You've got people that are, you know, low numbers in the country, and I'll say it again for Muslims. 2.2 or 2.4% of our population Muslims, yet 9% represent them in prisons. We have to check these people. We are fools. We've been taken for mugs in this country by opening our doors. And if you look at what's happening in Melbourne with the Sudanese as well, they're running riot on the streets. They are in Toowoomba. We have to get tough on who we bring into this country, because you know what, it will all come down to our standard of living, our way of life, and our safety and security.
Pauline, I want to cover a couple of other things. Speaking of getting tough, are you going to get tough on Anthony Fells, this One Nation member who got involved in that scuffle with Rod Culleton in Perth? You probably saw that on the news.
Well, I've heard about it, and I just heard about it last night. I'm not impressed with it at all. Anthony Fells, let me just make this quite clear. Anthony Fells has had an interview with me at a request of people that know him to actually stand as a candidate. No one has been endorsed as a candidate for One Nation yet in Western Australia, because the party has not been registered as yet until we get the registration through. So that's not the case. I'm not impressed with it at all. And he was serving papers. It was nothing to do with One Nation. It is a civil matter.
Well, what are you going to do about him? Because that was a fairly ugly scuffle. Is he the sort of bloke you want on the ticket?
I haven't seen, like I said, no one has been endorsed. So don't jump to conclusions about this as yet. Like I said, no, he has not been endorsed as a candidate for One Nation. No one has been officially endorsed to be candidates because the party registration has not been finalised as yet. And I don't believe in counting my chickens before they hatch.
OK, one more matter of national importance, Pauline. The Hills hoist has become the latest Aussie brand to be sold overseas. Surely we've got to do more to keep the products here.
Oh, no. I totally agree with you. I can't believe this. All our Australian icons are gone, right? The whole lot. My Vegemite's gone Kraft, and it's halal as well, which I won't, bother buying. Wake up, Australia, OK? Let's get industries and manufacturing going. Let's give, the government should be giving these companies the incentives. Give them tax breaks, payroll tax breaks. Give them, incentives to start up these companies again here in Australia. That's why we're losing our unemployment, because we don't have the industries and manufacturing in this country anymore and buying cheap rubbish from overseas.
There you go.
It's easy.
Hills hoist should be a question on the citizenship test, I reckon, don't you reckon?
Look, I think it's a pretty good question,
right.
but is it relevant? Thanks.
There you go. Good on you,
Cheers.
Pauline. Thank you for that. Here's